is Happening with Allison B.
My name is Allison B., and welcome to my third episode of What is Happening, which is a video talk show to share ideas on how to make a better you and me. The title of today's episode is Retirement Life? Well, why am I so busy? I chose this subject line because I am currently in this new season of life, and I want to share this journey with you. Today's episode will include my special guest, Scott, tips on managing the health field, grandparenting, do-it-yourself projects, and a must-have recipe. So we are going to start with our coffee chat. And today, my guest is my friend and my husband, Scott. So welcome, Scott.
Hello.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So here is a picture of us when we got married 36 years ago and in Wisconsin. I'd like to say that, boy, we haven't changed a bit, right? Except
we were a little younger back then.
maybe I have longer hair now.
It's not gray.
So what I want to do is we always start with our mugs, and we want to share our theme behind our mugs. So do you want to go first? Or why you
Sure.
picked that one? Yeah.
So one of the topics today is retirement, and this is an Illuminate Financial Group coffee mug, who is the financial group that Allison and I have been using for several years. Um, I don't mind saving money. I just where to save it and how to move it around, and I needed someone to help us. So they've done a good job, and they've actually helped put us in a position to retire when we did. So
Yeah.
I chose a retirement.
Well,
And
and speaking of retirement, I chose this mug. Speech therapists make a difference one word at a time because I was a speech pathologist for up to 30 years. And so, and this also kind of reflects on my podcast too, is that with our broken world right now, maybe we can help change the world by using one word at a time and being positive and being kind to others and saying nice words. So it's kind of an encouragement there. But speaking of mugs, we kind of have a little joke in our family about mugs. And as you know, I think I mentioned before that I really like big mugs. I cannot lie.
Excuse me, miss. There seems to be a mistake. I believe I ordered the large cappuccino.
oh,
So, like I said before, our title for today is about retirement. Why am I so busy? So I've heard you say that with retirement that you feel like you're busier now than you ever have been. You're always like, how did we get so much done before?
so I think yeah, when you work, you cramp so much into the weekend or at night, and now we have time to do projects and catch up on things and maybe go into a little more detail than we had in the past, rather than just making it work over a short period of time. So,
So you actually retired before me.
mhm.
Um, so you retired like 3 years before me, actually, right?
Yep.
3 years, yeah. And this is how I took it. I don't know how you took it, but I remember you saying like your goal was to keep me happy, so I would keep working to help pay for the insurance, and that you would take some things off my plate. So you would do not all, but most of the cooking and cleaning and the chores.
Well, I mean, I wanted to retire, and so yes, I would do that again. I thought if I could make it so Allison could come home and enjoy the evenings and weekends, because we didn't have to worry about what was going on in taking care of the house, taking care of the yard, whatnot. So, yeah, taking all the responsibilities on while I'm at home and let Allison continue to work. So, it took me about 10 years, maybe a little more, to talk her into that plan, but
So I'm
that was good.
slowly easing into this retirement. So last year I did go back and work 3 days a week. And then this year I'm working 4 hours a week.
Mhm.
And so we'll see what next year brings. But because I was still working And I had to get up before you now because you always got up before me. I want to share one of my must-haves with you. And this is here, this motion sensor. And I also have one here, which we just plug into the walls. Super simple. Got them on Amazon. I'm going to have the link at the end of the show. But this, when I would come out of the bathroom and try to find the doors, it'd be completely dark in our bathroom. And I would be, walking like this or holding my hands out. I would most likely run into a chair or hit the wall or the door. And then I don't even know how we came across these. Oh, I think it was at that the mansion we stayed at. They had them.
Oh, okay.
And they would just light up when you walked by them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is genius. We got to get these. So we have them all around our house at the stairwell. So when I go down the stairs, it's lit up and then it goes off once you're past. So even bought these for my mom for her condo to help her. So these are great. I'll just share that. Um, so, like I said, next year might bring a whole new thing, or even this year, only working 4 hours a week. I think being retired, you were worried about how we were going to keep ourselves busy or how I was going to keep myself busy because you didn't want me sitting around eating bonbons all day. So now we're trying to figure out our new groove. And I want to share this little picture with you. So we kind of have come into this block that kind of shows what our life is now. It's kind of by day. So I just want to share like what my typical day is looking like this year. So I start with my daily Bible study, which has been really a blessing, and I really really enjoy that time. So I'll do a Bible verse of the day with a little speaker that goes with it that kind of leads me into it, and then I've been reading the Bible from front to cover. I will do some exercise, so go to the gym, and then we've been walking every day for like 30 minutes, so that's been great. Pretty much rain or shine, we're getting out there and trying to walk. I'll do some chores. I'm reading a lot more books. We started babysitting and then getting my treatments because that takes a lot of time to work around too. So I'm like, I don't know how I would have been able to work this year full time anyways. So yeah. So for example, when I said that clock, where it's like Monday, Tuesday. So on Mondays once a month, we've been going to the senior group at church.
We're seniors now.
Which was very scary. And I'm like, I remember when they were inviting you to go, and I'm sitting there, well, what is a senior like? What age is qualified as a senior? Because I didn't want to go if I was too young or if it didn't fit in. And I remember I kept asking you to email them and say, hey, what age is a senior? And well, you never did. So I remember I wrote and kind of pretended I was you and got back, and it was age 60 or above. So we both qualified.
Yeah.
So we went there, and I remember my first time of going there. I was like, well, maybe God's leading me to help with the seniors because I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go with volunteering or helping out. And I thought, oh, I'll just make cookies for the senior group and bring that for lunch. And well, that kind of changed, as you know. So, being diagnosed with myasthenia gravis and then having my little health crisis last summer where I was in the hospital for 11 days trying to find a new medication to control my symptoms, this podcast, came alive, and that kind of took over in how I am focusing this year. And then I'm also involved with a women's group, which meets Tuesday evenings. And then I've joined a weekly Bible study group at our church on Wednesday morning. So it's more of a community and being around other Christians. And your typical day is
well, I usually get up around 7:30, so I'm not sleeping in too late, but while the coffee's being made, I kind of tidy up the kitchen a little bit, whatever needs to be done there. And then I'll do my Bible study. I too am reading the Bible from cover to cover. And then I'm also part of a men's community at church. But then I've kind of set out some housekeeping chores that I do on a really a monthly basis, but broken down into the week. So I've always got something to do to keep up with the housework. Since Allison's retired, she's doing the grocery shopping and quite a bit of the cooking now. So I've had to figure out how to do uh, get some other projects done. But I think the biggest thing is over 30 years of working, really haven't taken care of fully a lot of the projects we wanted to do. So just little things like keeping repairing the fences, keeping the yard in good shape. Deep cleaning the houses, things that you really wouldn't do. But, we used to hire out washing the windows on the outside, but I can do two a day. So,
Yeah, I think that's kind of what everyone starts with is I'm going to organize and I'm going to, clean out my drawers. So we started that. And then that kind of like what we've always kind of had a little system is your little honey-do list. So if there's something that, especially when you were working, I would put it on this. I found this little cute little hammer and I would just stick on the notes. So it says on there, do the podcast. So that's all you have to do today.
yeah, but if your honeydew list was so long for a while that she made a box,
I did.
threw everything in a box.
There and like put little notes on what he needed to do. So that's for sure. Yeah. So I want to share the Bible verse that I chose for today because with retirement, trying to figure out what God's plan for me is or for us. And so this Bible verse is Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. So do you remember at church when we would go to Sunday school and our teacher would say, what is your purpose here on earth? And the answer was always bring glory to God. So right now, this year, I'm focusing on this podcast and I'm hoping that it will bring God glory because he has, when I gave my life to Jesus and accepted him and I want to share this good news with other people so that other people can also have a relationship with Jesus and know that he's going to take care of us and he's calmed all my anxiety, not all, a lot of my anxieties that I've had going through this health crisis. And I'm also continuing to pray that God will show me where I'm going to be led next year when I have I won't be working at all next year maybe. So stay tuned on that to see where God leads us in the future. So, okay. So with retirement, one of the benefits of you being retired was that you were there more when I did go through this health crisis because I know when you were working, you couldn't take off many days. You'd have a set days and you were committed to your work, which is good. So that is one thing I'm really glad and fortunate that you were able to be by my side and helping me to being with me and also helping me to manage the health field. And that's kind of what I want to share a little bit about. One of our difficulties we had was having the communication between our doctor's office and the insurance to get some of my treatments approved and move forward so that I can help manage my symptoms. So when I went off the cell set, because remember that caused the cancer in my arm, and so we decided we're going to try a different long-term treatment to manage my myasthenia gravis symptoms. And they came back with a full force in July, and that's when into June, and I went into the hospital because I was having difficulties breathing and swallowing. But before that, when we had the plan, when we had decided I'd go off the cell set, the doctor said, hey, if any of your symptoms come back, we're hoping they don't, just send me a message in my chart and we will get together and address that. So I did that. They came back at my son's baby shower and I emailed and said, this is what's happening. And then each day kind of got worse and I didn't hear back. And then we found out that when you send something in my chart, it doesn't go directly to the doctor. It's just like in this holding tank. And their job at that office is to read those emails and then route them to the right person. Well, that wasn't being done at the specific time. And as you know, a lot of medical places, there was shortages of people working. And then we found out that the person that works directly with the insurance company had quit. So they were kind of in this phase where they didn't have enough people to manage all of that. So what we found out is that one thing that helped was that I would send a message and then call the doctor's office and say, hey, I just sent this email. Is it there? And they would say yes. And then I say, can you please make sure the doctor gets that message today or to help encourage to speed up the process. And that worked.
Yes.
That was something that we found that was very good. And then for them to send something on to the insurance company, we would call the insurance company and see if they've received something. If they haven't, then I would ask to talk to one of the doctor's assistants and say, hey, they haven't received this yet, or this is what they need. So I felt like both of us were had help intervene and get the process sped up.
Yeah, what we found out was the doctor's office would send the paperwork to the insurance company, and then they thought everything was good. But if the insurance company, there was something wrong with the application or whatnot, sometimes they would sit on it. And so neither side was talking. And in Allison's particular case, there was actually a third party, which was Providence Pharmacy, which was in charge of scheduling infusions and injections and whatnot. And so it got to be where we were actually spending time to make sure that each party was talking to the other, and if there was something being held up, we were the ones that were having to go and get that communication link going again. So yeah, I think if we didn't jump in and do that, it would have just stalled.
And it was really great to have you come along to my doctor appointments as well, because it's just another ear listening. And then you had your own set of questions where, oh, I didn't even think about that. So I encourage, if you're going through a health crisis or somebody else, make sure that they have someone going along with them to kind of be those extra set of ears and help navigate that. I also had to advocate for myself in the hospital, which I found out because you have a different nursing staff. Like in the beginning, the nurses were consistent a couple days, but then it ended up being like every day there would be different ones, and you have your AM and your PM. So I had to tell them over and over what I specifically needed. And I felt bad doing that, but I had to advocate for myself. So for example, with my Mestinon, it had to be crushed because I wasn't able to swallow, and it had to be with a thickened consistency. They were pudding, which I really liked, or yogurt or applesauce or something like that. And I needed it 30 to 60 minutes before I ate. So I would be looking at the clock and going, I should have had my Mestinon by now. So we'd have to, have the nurse come in and bring that. And it was something we had to do each time. But so it was great to have your support with that too. Yeah. So while I was in the hospital, I came up with some really big ideas. So
you're on a roll.
Yes. So, I just had all this time sitting there and I wanted to keep my mind active and busy. But one idea that I had since was, man, I sure would like to remodel our living room or update it, I guess, but on a budget. So, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on this. We had some nice quality furniture, so I felt like I didn't want to get rid of that. Like, how could I make this furniture look better? So I want to share you what we decided to do. So this shows what our living room looked like. And we didn't spend a lot of time in there except for maybe Christmas, as you can see here, because I just was kind of embarrassed about the furniture. So our living room had, as you can see, the chairs had like this flowery pattern. Pink. All the fixtures were gold. Our frame had gold around it. And I'm just like, I just know this is so outdated, but what am I going to do? And I don't even know how I came across this, but on Amazon, I found these like slip covers, and the reviews, kind of looked good. So I'm kind of like, wow, that looks great. And these were the measurements for our couch. And then these are for the chair. So I ended up buying them, and I thought, well, let's try it and see what it looks like. And we were very pleased with the end result. So as you can see, our chairs and this fabric is so soft. That's what I really, really like about it. And it fits our furniture great. And we swapped out the curtains and we put all black fixtures instead of gold. And then the fireplace, you want to tell kind of what you did there because it was black, but it had some gold on it as well.
Yeah, I think all the trim in the house was gold, but on the fireplace, I just pulled off what I could, took it outside, and then spray painted it black. Uh, what I couldn't, there were some pieces that were had to stay there. I actually plasticed that whole wall back there so that any overspray or whatnot wouldn't get on the wall or the carpet or anything like that, and just sprayed it in place. Of course, shut off the pilot light before I did all that. But anyway, it actually turned out pretty nice and looks good. So I just found that spray painting some of that was much easier than trying to brush it.
And then this thing over the fireplace, we got that at Hobby Lobby, or I did, and it was kind of a bronze color. And so what did you do to this? And you want to share that?
Yeah, spray painted that as well. And one thing, I don't think I did it on this piece, but I learned a little bit later as I was doing it. They do have a clear coat you can put over the top, and I would recommend that on anything that you're gonna, just because it just gives it a little bit more protection from chipping, and so you don't have little bits of black paint missing, and then it's bronze or gold underneath it. So,
and then I bought some furniture from Wayfair. So this stand here and the lamp. So that was reasonable, very well priced. And then I love garage sailing. So I had gone out garage sailing and saw this little side table and it was real wood. And so I think I got this for like $10. So I'm like, I just had this vision like, oh, I need a little side table by that couch. I wonder if Scott could maybe paint this. I wasn't sure. I went ahead and bought it and showed it to him. Well, he pulled through. So here's a picture of the final project. And what did you want to share about this one?
This actually just went to Home Depot and got Behr paint, but they make a scuff resistant paint. So it's just for, I guess, if in this case, kicking the legs or when you're vacuuming hitting the legs, it's a little more durable. The only piece of hardware on this was the knob. There's a drawer in the table, and so we decided that that was good enough. We didn't want to change it out, so I just again spray painted it black to match everything and put it all together.
Now, did you ever Google any of this, or you just kind of?
Oh, I do Google a lot of things.
Okay.
Just it sometimes you pick up a little trick. So there's always seems to be a YouTube video or something, and it just reassures me that what I have planned is there. I didn't realize there was a scuff resistant paint. So when I went to get paint for this, I just asked the person working at Home Depot, and he says, "Oh, if you're using it for furniture, he recommended, a scuff resistant." But yeah, even if I have a good plan and really know what I want to do, I just, for 3 or 4 minute YouTube video, you might catch up, a hint of how to do something or an idea.
So this is the finished project with your little table, and then this little lamp. I also got that at a garage sale, and the bottom was, an off color, and you spray painted that black, and here's our black fixture. So now we're in the living room a lot. We kind of hang out in there a lot. And then some other projects you did was this picture frame we had over the piano. And you want to tell about that?
Yeah, the black border next to the picture itself was gold. So I had to take the painting out, and then I just painted it a black. And when we put it back up, I can't remember what the frame was. The frame was we thought we'd leave it, but then decided we wanted to go with the same color as the valances. So took it back to outside and just painted it gray.
Yeah. And then in our hallway or entryway, we had this big mirror that was painted gold. And I'm like, well, he's on a roll. Put this on his little honeydew loose mirror. So
Yeah, I think the last picture you saw is where I didn't use the clear coat, and every time I put it up or bump it or something, and get a little chip off it, and then I'd have to touch up paint. And luckily, we had some paint that matched it, that the spray paint. But so this one, I was like, I got to have something that protects the spray paint itself. So I found a clear coat, and we haven't chipped anything off of this at all. So
yeah. And then along the theme of our remodeling, this wasn't something that you did, but was something that we thought just kind of brought the house all together, is that our home had a lot of oak in it from the years that it was done. And I kept looking at this going, oh my gosh, what if we painted that or had it stained a different color? So we did hire that out. And so this is what it looks like now, which I'm really happy with. And we also had our floors redone. So I just am real happy with how everything has just come together. So, yeah. So that was one piece of our retirement, was kind of updating the house, which we still need to do some other projects. And then during retirement, we also thought about traveling. And we kind of put a lot of that on hold just because I'm still trying to time out when my treatments are, because I have like 4 weeks on and then 3 weeks off, and just kind of planning that all out. So we have plans in the future, but haven't really done anything big at this point. And then another big change in our retirement that's added is we became grandparents.
yes, we did.
In August, to a little grandson. And he's 7 months old now. And so we have committed to watching him 2 days a week. So
2 days a month.
2 days a month, sorry. Yeah. So that's great. So we knew from our friends that are grandparents how like things have totally changed since when we had our 2 boys. And just hearing him like, oh my gosh, how do you even know what to do? Like, So especially when we kind of ran into this little video from Adam Rose on babysitting. So I want to share that and on babysitting. Good. Artist. We decided that we are just going to put our little guy in this little bubble. And that way he won't get in trouble and we won't get in trouble.
We won't get in trouble either, yes.
Yeah. So, another thing that has changed in time is like the looks of even a baby room, So that was like, I remember, well, here's a picture of what our baby room looked like when we were parents. And I remember seeing this crib. It was actually at a garage sale down the street. And I saw it. We were just newly married. So we weren't even thinking about kids at that time. But I just thought this crib was the prettiest thing I'd ever seen. And I'm like, I got to have that crib. So I know I waited till you got home and said, is it possible? Can we get this crib? And you're so nice. And you were like, okay. So the next day we went back to the garage sale and I bought it and I'm like we're wheeling it down the sidewalk and we put it in the garage. Well, then I couldn't stand it because I'm like, it's so pretty. It's crazy to keep it in the garage. I'm like, can we just put it in one of our spare bedrooms? And so you said yes. So we brought it up to the bedroom. And then I would tell people like, this is, our home, giving them a tour, and this is our home for guests. And this one is for our guests that have babies. And so we did that. And, the crib nowadays, like, you wouldn't have these like bumper pads. You wouldn't have the blankets. You wouldn't have you can't even use a used crib anymore. So things have like totally changed that way. And this is our older son. And like the little swing and this little walker, those are things that I'm not seeing parents these days have anymore, or, things that just totally changed. So now they have things like, sleep sack, which I had never heard of before. And that was like you put them in that for when they're sleeping so they don't have blankets. They just kind of sleep in this sack.
Mhm.
And then tummy time, that's kind of a
Well, it's something that our son and daughter-in-law do. It helps build the neck muscles. So basically, it's keeping our grandson on his tummy, and even though he fusses a little bit, they keep him entertained. But it's all to get his muscles working in him, and he's getting ready to crawl pretty soon. So he's doing well.
Mhm. And then there's always the thing about like, what are you going to have them call you? And trying to find that perfect grandparent name. So, boy, I'm like, listen to a lot of my friends. I'm like, what do you think? And so I want to share this little video because it is serious business coming up with your grandparent name.
I'm going to have a grandbaby.
Oh, that's wonderful. So I'm guessing you're here to pick out your grandmother name.
That'd be great.
All right, this way. All right, well, let's start with two of our most popular options. We have the Granny. It's casual, yet still commands respect.
Nanny.
We also have the more affordable Meemaw, which is a variant of the Granny line.
Supper's on the table.
I'm thinking something a little more younger and
In that case, I recommend the Mimi. You can also get this in Gigi or customized with your own name.
this one's nice. Hey, Barb. Hey, Susan. Isn't this adorable?
Yes, that's the one I have.
Oh. Never mind. Do you have something else?
Oh, we got something in just yesterday that I think you love. The Grammy.
I love it. I'll take it.
Perfect. I'll wrap this up for you. And just so you know, we have a 1-year return policy just in case anything goes wrong for whatever reason.
I need to return this.
Of course. What's the reason for the return?
The kid couldn't pronounce the name. Gonna have to go with Lala.
Of course. One moment.
Bless your heart.
Okay, so I wanted to read this cute little book with you. I love my grandma. I'm just going to read parts of it. I love my grandma. Everyone knows grandmothers go by many names: grandma, granny, nana, Gigi, mom, Mima, Nana, Lola, Lolo. But maybe they should really be called grandma. because grandmas are some of the most glamorous people you've ever gonna meet. Grandmas don't just come over, they make a grand entrance. Grandmas don't just celebrate holidays, they celebrate everything. Grandmas don't just carry a purse, and they carry a treasure chest. And I actually have my own grandma bag that I fill in with different books and different toys each time I come to visit. So anyways, the book just goes on and on, but it's so cute. And I think I can really relate to being a grandma. So the last thing I wanted to share about retirement was that we've been able to try some new recipes and start cooking. And one recipe, since I have you as my guest, I want to share one of my favorite recipes that you make is your Qdoba chicken. And cilantro rice. So that is so good. So we're gonna, if you wouldn't mind just telling, I'll put the recipe up here and then if you can just share.
Okay, sure. It's
About
a
that.
pretty simple recipe, but very tasty. And I've made it for Allison and I all the way up to probably 30 people at one time when we had a end of the school year party at our house. But it's basically boneless chicken breasts, and you pound them flat. Don't have to be flat, but you just pound them thin. And then what I like to do is take all of the spice ingredients, everything but the chicken, and put it in a quart-sized plastic bag, Ziploc bag. Combine all that and mix that up, and then put your chicken breast in there to marinate that for a day or two. The adobe sauce in chipotle peppers is where they really get the spice and the taste from. So I'll actually, even though the recipe doesn't say, I'll just put a whole pepper in the bag for marinating, and then I'll remove it before I grill the chicken. But just make sure the chicken breasts are covered with all the spices, and just let it sit in the refrigerator for a day or two. Grill them up. And then we like to serve that with this cilantro lime rice, which is we use a pressure cooker to make our rice, which for us is easy. But we've done it where we've just made it on the stove top as well. But I think the trick here is the lime zest that really adds to it, but it really complements the chicken very well. So
yeah, and we love to make this, like you could put the chicken in like a bowl with the rice, or you could even put a lot of lettuce in it. And then we add black beans and cheese and sour cream and salsa or pico de gallo. So
almost make a chicken taco or a chicken bowl out of it.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank
and maybe I'll have you on again another time
you. All
soon.
right. Been like Saturday Night Live. I'm just going to slide out.
Okay, sounds good. So my takeaway and focus this month is to continue to be kind, help someone in need. So how can you do that? You can do a phone call if you know someone's going through a rough time. Maybe you can visit them, provide a meal, or provide a ride. So I'll see you next time. And here is to a better you and me. Thank you for joining. Bye.